What's up, nation? Today let's talk about the Nintendo Switch Pro and what a developer has recently stated they would be able to do with the new console's hardware. Alright everyone, so today I wanted to talk about Nintendo Switch Pro once again, as we are continuing to see more and more rumors circulate on the internet and more articles come out with now even developers referencing what they would be able to do with new Nintendo Switch console hardware. So I want to share through the article and then also my takeaway on what we can maybe expect as far as the timeline on when Nintendo may release this, and then also kind of who the target demographic is going to be for this, and will it sell to replace the Nintendo Switch, or will it just be the new benchmark in the Switch family? So I want to share all my opinions on that today. Now, before we do hop into all the information, I do just want to quickly invite you all to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. And by the way, guys, doing that will enter you into my PS5 giveaway that I'm completing at the end of January, so make sure you don't miss out on that. But with that, guys, let's dive into the details. So if you followed any of the information online about the Nintendo Switch recently, you've probably seen a bunch of Switch Pro rumors continue to pop up all over the place. Now, there's a number of different things that point gamers to believe that Nintendo is absolutely working on the Nintendo Switch Pro and it will be released at some point during 2021. Some speculate that it'll be pushed to 2022. My personal opinion, I'm in the camp that it will be released this year, as that now that we have the new PS5 and Xbox Series X console hardware, it is now showing the Switch's age just a little bit. Even on games like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, you can clearly see frame rate dips in this game on the current benchmark of the Switch hardware that we have today. Now, that being said, Nintendo's obviously not going to come out and say for sure that they are releasing a Switch Pro, as they are already selling an extremely successful console in the base model of Nintendo Switch and the Switch Lite. But we do have a new developer by the name of Engine Software, who has actually worked on the No More Heroes ports from 1 and 2 and ported them over to the Switch to run at 60 frames per second. They have actually released an interview and a comment specifically on what Nintendo Switch hardware would mean to them, and just kind of their opinion on if Nintendo Switch Pro hardware would actually be a benefit to games. So I want to read through the details of that article with you now. Rumors of a Switch Pro never seem to end, and it's only natural that Nintendo will eventually come out with some sort of new system. Given that Engine Software has been involved with a bunch of Switch games over the years and has a lot of technical experience, is there anything you'd like to see from a Switch 2/Switch successor in terms of specs? Truth be told, our opinion on this matter might be counterintuitive for a lot of people, but we are not large subscribers of the Pro model. Sure, it would be nice to have more RAM, a faster GPU/CPU compared to before, but if it is still considered the same platform, you must make sure your game runs on every model. So, for compatibility reasons, your performance gets benchmarked on the lowest specifications. We have seen with prior upgraded systems that the additional power never really got utilized well for this reason. So that's obviously an interesting takeaway from a developer who is well versed on making games run better from previous platforms to newer platforms, because they actually upgraded the Wii versions of No More Heroes to run on the Nintendo Switch, and they are now stating that, basically in their opinion, if you have to still make it run on the Switch Lite, you're not going to be really using all of the horsepower that's available for that console. Now, I do tend to disagree with them just a little bit, because obviously they are right in the sense that if you're not building a game from the ground up to take advantage of that extra horsepower, and it's not exclusive to that new console, that there are going to be certain limitations. But for me, somebody who actually upgraded from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, I really enjoyed the better frame rate, and I even got those settings in the newer games that started to come out towards the end of the console's life cycle, like God of War, for instance, where you could put it in performance mode and have it run at a clear 60 frames per second, or if you're gaming in 4K, you have the option to go ahead and still run it at 30 but have it rendered at a full 4K resolution. I hope we see Nintendo offer us that option. Now, my personal opinion is that Nintendo will not replace the existing Nintendo Switch, but that rather they would go ahead and offer this as maybe a $400 Pro console that can do 4K, and it does have a better OLED screen, which we have seen reports of Nintendo talking about. We even have newer Switch firmware model updates that have actually referenced that there is going to be a chip in a external docking system where you would dock the Nintendo Switch, that it'll actually get extra horsepower from that. So there's obviously all types of signs that are pointing to the Nintendo Switch Pro being around the corner, and then we just obviously aren't going to see Nintendo announce it well before it's going to be released. We're going to be starting to get into the busy part of this new year in 2021, so I absolutely think it makes sense for Nintendo anytime as soon as April, maybe as late as June, to go ahead and unveil this thing and probably start selling it within a few weeks or no more than a month from actually announcing it. So you'll probably continue to see more rumors online about what it will be able to do, but if I can go ahead and play Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in 60 frames per second as opposed to 30, and it doesn't dip beneath 30, then that's going to be a big win to me, and as a more hardcore Nintendo fan, I will be happy to spend the extra $100 and upgrade the console to the highest tier. Now, the other direction they could go is kind of doing like a new Nintendo Switch in the same way that they kind of phased out the previous model of the 3DS and started selling only the new. They could do that as well, and then you're still probably selling it at $299 because I don't think they want to, go ahead and go beneath that price point, and they would be removing the existing Switch from the family. But Nintendo, in their investors meetings, has said multiple times that they want to have a family of consoles, and I don't think just the Switch and the Switch Lite is all that means. I think they have a entry-level handheld only version. They have your mid-tier basic Switch that still does the TV connection, but it's limited to 1080p and 720p on the go, and then hopefully we see that 4K docked Switch Pro model that you can maybe still play at 1080p, or rumors are even saying that it's still going to be 720p but with an OLED screen on the device itself. So if we get all that for the extra $100 over the initial $299 price tag of the Switch, I think it's a win in my opinion, and I hope that we get more official news on it soon. But with all these different companies involved and manufacturing and things like that, I don't think it's going to take us long to see rumors and leaks that actually for sure guarantee that this Switch Pro will be released sooner rather than later. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts as well on if you would pay for $400 for a Switch Pro that could run 4K games, or are you just more in the camp that you hope that they replace the existing Switch at $299 and they just do better battery life and maybe still run games at 4K but kind of phase out the previous model. I would be surprised if they do that, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts as well. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all to leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts and what you're willing to pay for the Nintendo Switch Pro, and if you're in the camp that you think this is actually going to happen this year or next year, or if you think that this is just all rumors and smoke and there is no fire and there's probably not going to be a Switch Pro for the foreseeable future. And then guys, before we do end the video, I just want to quickly invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below. Hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.